Hello, and welcome back to DuckBots Season 3. We're at the 5th episode of this fantastic series. This has been a great series so far. What do you think?
It's been an amazing series. We've seen funny robots, we've seen funny fights, we've seen all of it, and we're gonna see more.
Oh, goodness gracious me. We've got some great fights lined up for you today. Last week, we saw the Battle of the Full Body Spinners as Ghost took down Obsidian in what was a great main event. It is now time for the fight card reveal. We've got some great matches lined up for you today. Kicking us off in this episode will be Fortnite returning to the ring after an incredibly destructive performance against Aquatic Disaster, up against their sister robot here, Hairdo. Speaking of Aquatic Disaster, they're going up against Sawsome, Astral Cookie versus Karl Marxman.
Communism!
Quicksilver versus Blip, Pretzel Bite versus Komodo Dragon, and Bloodlust versus Toffee in the main event. Both these robots had half-decent wins. We'll see if they can put on a showing when they go up against each other. But starting us off with our first fight, it is the legend himself, Fortnite. This robot surprised the world when it just completely decimated Aquatic Disaster. I think there were people expecting it to win, but not just by sheer domination. This robot, while it may appear funny, it is Fortnite themed after all. It is incredibly destructive, just decimating their opponent in their last match. Against Hairdo tonight, very experimental design. We'll have to see how they fare. Hairdo definitely has the reach advantage. Well, let's see how this one goes. Hairdo, brand new custom chassis design for this season, started off by getting dropped out of the arena by Toffee in episode 1. Looking to bounce back against a fairly new coming robot in Fortnite. We'll see how they get along in this fight. They have the reach advantage like I've said previously, but it'll be interesting to see. That weapon of Fortnite is incredibly strong, and these two robots, they're going to end up tearing this whole arena down. This should be a ton of fun.
Two very powerful spinners in this fight. We have Fortnite, we have Hairdo. Can Hairdo purchase the battle pass with this one and beat Fortnite?
Alright, let's take a look at this match in the arena. And here we go. Both of these robots spinning up to speed. You can hear that death hum on that Melty Brain spinner of Fortnite. Good little jab to start this match off, and a huge ricochet hit there by Fortnite, showing the power of that weapon. And we've lost a Ninja.
No, the low taper fade.
Ninja has come flying off of Fortnite in a great exchange there by Hairdo, but there goes a side panel on Hairdo. Another huge shot by Fortnite to the side, now bouncing around. Good little shot there by Hairdo. So far, this has been an incredibly explosive match between these two big spinners, and another huge shot throwing Hairdo around the arena, and just showing the power of that spinner. Fortnite, even after that massive hit, is already back up to kill speed. Hairdo trying to line up a shot here. Little impaired drive seems to be that damage starting to take effects here. Hairdo now getting into the wall. Huge throw there. Another massive ricochet shot by Fortnite, bouncing off that wall into that weapon of Hairdo and throwing them across the arena. But it looks like, oh, we're in for a fun time here. Fortnite can't move. Hairdo also can't move. Buckle in your seatbelts, everybody. This is about to be the worst fight ever.
We have the spinning outdated Fortnite map and a wounded soldier. Very interesting.
Hairdo just limping around the arena. Fortnite, they've actually slowed down their spin and is trying to position this as, oh, there they go. Oh, and they've just completely bouncing in. That's a good little shot to the back. Fortnite now up to speed. A good little weapon-on-weapon exchange here. I think this fight is going to end up just being these two absolutely went through hell in the first minute of this fight. But right now, these two robots are just limping. I will take this moment now to wish anyone watching, go grab a snack, go use the bathroom. These two are not hitting each other. Go do it.
Fortnite at the beginning got some nice hits, very much like an ice hockey puck, just like hitting the side of the arena and coming back like with double the speed, but nothing interesting right now. We have crab walking and we have sit and spin. Just close your eyes.
Recipe for disaster. Hairdo trying to direct themselves toward that spinner of Fortnite. Fortnite again spinning down, trying to move themselves somewhere closer. But now Hairdo up to speed. Can they position themselves to get a shot in? They're getting close. No, it's not gonna happen. Well, this one was a great start, but this one's gonna go to the judges. Oh wow, Fortnite now hitting the other side of Hairdo there, ripping off the other side guard. Good shot to end this fight. This one will go to the judges. I was entertained, very much entertained in the first minute of this fight, but after that, this was a complete snooze fest. Fortnite and Hairdo, these two throw down some insane shots in the first moments of this fight. There goes the side guard hitting the screws, and then there was this just insane hit right here, weapon on weapon, Fortnite launching Hairdo into that wall, and then there was this one here, the massive ricochet launching Hairdo across the arena. Just insane energy being displayed in this fight. The whole arena shook after that hit. That was incredible. But taking a look at the judges' scorecards, I think we all know who this was for. Fortnite improving the 2-0, taking home the 10-5 decision. Who would have thought the Fortnite-themed Melty Brain, mostly a sit and spin, 2-0 with two incredibly destructive wins. Wow, great start to the season for Fortnite. Hairdo, I don't know what to say about Hairdo at this point.
We have Sawsome, the scary metal spinner. We do not want to mess with Sawsome. Very scary. I can't remember who anybody fought in the first round for the life of me, but I know it did very good because it's at 1-0.
Sawsome took down Ree in their opening fight. They were able to cut through that weapon wire, taking out that motor. Against Aquatic Disaster, they should be the favorable robot in this match. But you never know, Aquatic Disaster, a very seasoned robot, has had a few good fights on Robot Madness. And this is a robot that's just been around a lot. I don't think, however, they've taken on a metal spinner. So we shall see how they fare in this fight. Saw some incredibly powerful Aquatic Disaster, a robot that started off 0-1. They got completely obliterated by Fortnite. How silly. And that's not that embarrassing at this point. They just destroyed Hairdo. But taking a look at the tail of the tape for this fight, Sawsome at 1-0, Aquatic Disaster at 0-1. It should be a good fight. Aquatic Disaster has the reach advantage, Sawsome has the power advantage. Let's see how this one goes. And we are underway. Sawsome leading with that back right now, trying to stop that spinner of Aquatic Disaster. They very clearly don't want to go weapon on weapon, afraid of that weapon being ripped off, but there it is. The Saw up to speed, trying to get a good shot, and flipping Aquatic Disaster over. Oh, but they've eaten a tread! A tread of Aquatic Disaster enveloped in that weapon. Sawsome now trying to... They're getting some good little chews on the side of that body. Good little shot there, hitting the weapon of Aquatic Disaster. Trying to go for that other tread, but I don't think it really matters. Aquatic Disaster is down and out, upside down. Sawsome trying to get back closer. That tread seems to be hindering their drive. They just want to put the final few blows and end this fight, which they're going to do right here. This one is over. Sawsome, a dominant display of damage in this fight, flipping Aquatic Disaster over after stopping that weapon. They're going to get the knockout win and improve the 2-0. Great showing by Sawsome.
Sawsome started out going for the back, started out cautious, but when it pulled out the saw blade, it just flipped over. I mean, it came out of that fight sporting a new necklace. Very fashionable, Sawsome. If Aquatic Disaster was invertible, that might have spelled trouble that tread in there, but thank God it's not, because Sawsome won. Yay!
Sawsome gets the knockout against Aquatic Disaster. Great little hit there with that metal saw blade, and then stealing her tread. How rude. Sawsome improving the 2-0. Aquatic Disaster down to 0-2. We'll see how these two do in the next fights. Right now, Sawsome off to a great start. But now we move on to Astro Cookie. This is a robot that got a very surprising win in their first match against Pumpkin with a great shot that, I don't know if they killed Pumpkin's drive, but I think that was down and out for the start. Looking to go 2-0 against not really a pushover. They won their first fight, but up against one of the sillier robots in the competition in Marksman. Astro Cookie has to be licking their lips here for a potential 2-0 start to the season. But Driver 2, why don't you tell us a little bit about Carl Marksman?
Carl Marksman, it's the communism bot. So funny. Karl Marxman got a nice highlighted fight win in the first fight. Was it Toasted Cocoa Beans?
Indeed it was.
Indeed it was. I remembered. It's nice. It's at 1-0. It's a funny communism robot. That hammer is very scary. I would be very scared of that hammer if I were you. If I was Astro Cookie, I'd be very worried. But let's see. Is it as scary as communism?
And we're underway in this fight. Astro Cookie, brand new white weapon blade after their weapon was destroyed by Pumpkin in that opening fight. Astro Cookie has the weapon assembly of Astro Cookie come apart here. And Karl Marxman is going to cruise to a victory. That weapon of Astro Cookie knocked out and on the floor, hindering their drive.
Communism wins.
And that is going to be a knockout. Karl Marxman with one of the shortest fights of the season, taking down Astro Cookie by a knockout. Wow, incredible. Karl Marxman 2-0. Who would have thought?
Really dictating that fight there. That hit. Dictate. It really... It broke the weapon, and then Astro Cookie died. It really dictated that weapon movement.
Karl Marxman 2-0. The power of communism coming into play. Insane start to the season. I don't think anyone would have predicted a 2-0 Karl Marxman. Astro Cookie, they're still in this third, 1-1. It's alright, their weapon exploded, they can rebound. But up next, it's Quicksilver. This robot we got to see very little of as it died in one hit against Erosion. But hopefully that drive is working in this fight and they can just completely smother Blip with that speed. Quicksilver, this is one of the most exciting robots in this tournament, as I've said before. The fastest Hexbug probably in existence. It is going to be really interesting to see how this robot does against a bot like Blip.
Blip flip.
Blip got a Blip flip in their first fight against Tornado. They're going to be looking for more in this fight against Quicksilver. Quicksilver is invertible, so you need multiple Blip flips, Blip, or a very special Blip flip.
The out of the arena Blip flip. It's very rare.
That would probably move mountains if they got an out of the arena Blip flip. Blip versus Quicksilver. Blip doesn't have those forks anymore. They're going to need to position themselves where they can get underneath that front fork of Quicksilver. Should be an interesting fight, to say the least. Quicksilver has that insane speed. Blip has that strong flipper. Let's see how this one goes inside the DuckBots arena. And we are underway. Huge box rush already by Quicksilver. Blip, I think they may have forgotten that backwards is forwards on that robot. Wow. I wonder who would have done that.
No, what are you talking about?
Quicksilver now trying to line up a good ram here on Blip, as we saw in that random fight montage where they were able to line up a huge ram, throw Claw Viper in there just like that. Can Blip stay in? And they do. Good little show of drive power there by Blip, just trying to find an angle to get underneath Quicksilver right now. That speed just completely negating any driving by Blip here, just able to ram into them with that hinged fork and get underneath. Quicksilver finally getting a chance to show off what they can do. That first fight, I know they were cut short by those battery issues against Erosion, but now Quicksilver almost throwing themselves out of the arena. That would have been so fun. But now Quicksilver, huge tail whip trying to get underneath Blip. Blip trying to find an angle where they can land that legendary out of the arena Blip flip. We need to start like putting bets on if Blip gets an out of the arena Blip flip, what will we do?
Or just how many Blip flips, guys. I bet $10 Blip gets 3 Blip flips this fight.
I wouldn't bet on that.
I wouldn't either.
How about this? We'll do a Q&A if Blip gets an out of the arena flip this season.
Gambling.
Quicksilver trying to line up a push here onto Blip. Good little attempt of a flip there. Quicksilver trying to line up that big ram that we've seen in random fight montage, but now Blip almost had a good shot and getting underneath there. Great opportunity for a flip there by Blip, but now Quicksilver trying to line up that push, trying to sneak that hinged fork underneath the front of Blip, trying to line up a push, and here they go!
Oh,
and out
no.
Blip goes. Good push there by Quicksilver, imitating what we saw against Claw Viper in that random fight. Great little push there by Quicksilver, throwing Blip into that wall and just scooting themselves along the wall and out of the arena. Good showing by Quicksilver finally in this match.
Quicksilver flip. Doesn't sound nearly as cool as blip flip, but it happened. No out of the arena blip flip, guys. It's sad. Quicksilver just pushing and then out of the arena.
The Q&A will have to wait. No out of the arena blip flip. Quicksilver gets the full speed ram to win the match. Good rebound from Quicksilver. Tough loss due to those battery issues, but they were able to rebound and score the win. Good job, Quicksilver.
No blip flip.
But now we have Pretzel Bite. This is the plastic ant bot from Mass Destruction. Had an incredible showing against Fruit Ninja in their first fight. Incredibly damaging performance, just completely disassembling Fruit Ninja. But they're up against Komodo Dragon. And we all know a thing or two about Komodo Dragon. This robot doesn't lose. Even in HRCL, it doesn't lose. Pretzel Bite. Incredibly strong weapon. I don't know if it comes with salt and butter. That might be a lie, but we shall see. Komodo Dragon. In that picture, they have those forks, but they are not running those forks in this match. They have a custom designed horizontal configuration specifically built for big horizontals. Wow, who would have thought? Imagine they used it against a vert. That would be so silly.
I would laugh.
Komodo Dragon. They have the speed advantage when driving forwards in this match. They need to keep that wedge facing Pretzel Bite, trying not to take any unnecessary damage. I mean, if they have that wedge ripped off, this fight may be over, to be honest. Komodo, they need to stay aggressive, get some good flips in, and Pretzel Bite, well, no response. But that weapon of Pretzel Bite is no joke. Let's see how this fight goes.
Komodo Dragon drives the length of the arena. Nice hit there from Pretzel Bite, getting deflected off the wedge. Komodo Dragon not driving. A lot of our robots have just strange drive issues. Sadly, Komodo Dragon is one of them. Nice pushes there. Komodo Dragon consuming the screws. That's not very smart. Stop. Get out of the screws, bro.
Good shot there by Pretzel Bite to the back there. Good little blows so far from Pretzel Bite in this match. No opportunities for a good flip from Komodo so far. Right now, this is all Pretzel Bite lining up another good shot to the side here. Komodo, to be fair, they can't win this fight with a flip. They need an out of the arena. Pretzel Bite is invertible, although signal issues could end up costing them in this match, but we shall see. Komodo, speaking of signal issues, having some of their own, it looks like. Komodo trying to point that wedge in the right direction. Good shot there to the side of Komodo Dragon. Pretzel Bite up to full speed. Right now, we haven't seen too many flip attempts. I don't think we've seen any flip attempts from Komodo so far. Pretzel Bite has that weapon up to full speed, trying to get a good shot. And there's a flip attempt finally, but an unsuccessful one. How sad. Pretzel Bite up to full speed, trying to find an angle on Komodo, but that wedge seems to be bent downwards. Can Pretzel Bite line up the flip? Good shot there to the side by Pretzel Bite. Komodo Dragon now trying to get underneath that spinner, land a flip to win this match, and they do. They didn't even have to flip them. Deflecting off the wedge, Pretzel Bite flipping onto their head. Komodo trying to land another flip, maybe to put them out of the arena here, or prop them on a wall. Good flip attempt there, trying to get underneath. So far, Pretzel Bite hanging in here so far, upside down. Although that weapon does not seem to be spinning. And a good flip there by Komodo. And Pretzel Bite is hung up on the wall. That's going to be it.
That's going to be it for Pretzel Bite. Komodo Dragon advances to 2-0 and keeps its legendary HRCL record.
That is not, you know nothing about HR. Do not talk to me about HRCL ever again. That is something I hold near and dear to my heart. Pretzel Bite. They were looking strong in this fight. They landed some good shots to the sides and back of Komodo. Almost got a chance to rip that wedge off, but a good little push there by Komodo, flipping them over. And then the fight was over when Komodo just scooped them up on the wedge, hung them on the wall, and they got the knockout win from it. Good start to the season from Komodo, 2-0. Pretzel Bite continuing to look impressive. This robot just decimated Fruit Ninja in their first fight, showing off that power. Not a lack of power in this fight, just got out-controlled. Pretzel Bite, still a robot to watch throughout the season. Komodo, 2-0. Who will stop them?
Nobody.
Nobody. H with a steel chair.
Name brands at discount prices.
Tornado versus Goo. This was our terrible highlighted fight to go over for this episode. And when I say terrible highlighted fight, this was truly awful. A quick reminder to those at home who may not who have seen Robot Wars before, Tornado usually has a spinner on the front, but the X-Bug version, it doesn't have a spinner. So they were just a moving box against a robot with perfect forks to scoop them up and land hammer saw hits. Who do you think won this match? Do you remember who won this match, Trevor, too?
If I remember correctly, I think Tornado landed an absolute monster hit and threw Goo out of the arena.
That is not true at all. Although they did do a funny spin attack. In the end, Goo dominated this fight in the control category, securing the judge's decision win over Tornado. Good showing. They improved to 2-0. Tornado drops to 0-2. They need to rebound. Sorry, Chaotic. We tried. But now, it is time for our main event. From Oof Robotics, we have Bloodlust. This is a robot very similar to Seizure that we saw in SummerSlam. Last time out against H, they ran that asymmetrical blade. This fight, however, they are running that massive double tooth blade, as seen in the bot picture that will show up once this clip removes. Thank you. That's the blade that Bloodlust will be running in this fight. Going up against Toffee, interesting to see against Whiplash bases are always tough to drive against. But on the other hand, we have Toffee. They just dumped Hairdo out of the arena in their opening fight, showing off some insane control. Toffee is a very good robot. This is a robot, they had a tough match in SummerSlam against Astro Cookie when they were knocked out. But other than that, they've had nothing but dominant wins so far. Can they hold their own and just cement themselves as a real contender in this fight against Bloodlust? This should be a very interesting fight. Like I said before, against a Whiplash base, those fights are always tricky for those big spinners. But we shall see how this one goes. Toffee, devastating overhead saw. Bloodlust, devastating overhead disc. Let's see how this fight goes.
Everton.
And we are underway. Bloodlust getting that weapon up to speed, trying to do some damage. Looks like their drive is back. They're not having any silly drive issues anymore. Huge shot there, throwing Toffee around the arena. Great shot by that gigantic disc on Bloodlust, debuting in the arena for this fight. Huge shot there, flipping Toffee over. Right now, Bloodlust showing that weapon has insane power, just pointing and aiming right now. But now Toffee getting a push into the wall. Good shot there, right to that drive pod of Bloodlust. And it looks like that may have done something, because that side of drive on Bloodlust seems to be down. Did that hit of Toffee take out that drive side?
It did something. Yay.
Good little bounce attack there. Bloodlust seems to be down to drive side, and a huge shot there, ripping off one of those front claws on Toffee. That other one looks quite loose. Good shot there, right to the top. Trying to go for that weapon motor wire, just barely missing it. Toffee now trying to line up another hammer saw hit. Bloodlust positioned up against the wall. Can they line up the shot here? Having it in the corner, look out! Whee! And just launched clean out of the arena, dropping that saw right onto that weapon. And Toffee just lifted clean out of the arena. Bloodlust is going to pick up the win completely against the run of play in this fight. Toffee was dominating after they managed to take out that drive side of Bloodlust. Bloodlust had some insane hits in this fight, to be fair. But then Toffee pushed him against the wall, took out that drive side with that hit right there. And Bloodlust, they were almost dead in the water. Toffee, all they had to do was keep the fight going, push them around. But they screwed it up. Learn where to place your saw, Toffee. Push them against the wall, drop that saw right into that weapon, and throw him clean out of the arena. Bloodlust is going to pick up the win and improve the 2-0. Unfortunate loss for Toffee. That'll help them in the strength of schedule category. 1-1, not a bad showing.
Unwise.
But now, that is it for our episode. We saw some very fun fights in this episode. We saw a great fight between Fortnite and Hairdo, although the ending wasn't that great. Saw some dismantling Aquatic Disaster, Quicksilver finally working, and Toffee killing themselves on Bloodlust's weapon. But now, we will see in the next episode, Claw Viper against Polaris. That should be a fun match. Squish trying to rebound from that tough loss against Toasted Cocoa Beans. Master against Serial Killer. Oh god. In the main event, it's a battle of my plastic ant versus my beetle. Sad Octopus versus Pineapple. That should be a fun main event.
Ew.
But that is going to do it for today's episode of DuckBots. Thank you all so much for watching. It's been a very fun episode. We are almost halfway through the season. See you guys next time. Adios, everyone.
Adios.